Coming up next, Rich Trumka sends a warning to coal companies.
Vandalism at a Mercer County cemetery.
And we'll meet with a local family whose lives were turned upside down from a routine vaccine.
The story and more ahead on the news.
Viacom.
See.
This is WVVA Television 6. Underwriting for the closed captioning of News Center 6 is provided by ENT Hearing Services of Bluefield, Robert B. Miller, M.D. Live from the region's #1 news team, Sherry Haig, Kevin McGraw, Stan Sweetsweather, Cody Morgan, Sports. This is News Center 6 at 6.
Union supporters rally in Washington today.
It's the kickoff to a long weekend of Labor Day demonstrations.
Good evening. Sherry is off tonight. UMW President Rich Trumka is warning coal operators not to hire replacement workers.
And that's just the beginning of what Trumka had to say today, as Barrett Van reports.
With union supporters gathered outside UMW headquarters in Washington, D.C. today, union leader Rich Trumka had a warning for coal operators that if replacement miners are hired, picket line violence would likely result. Trumka said the union is organizing more now than in the last 15 years.
Workers are coming to us, blue-collar workers, white-collar workers, pink-collar workers, all coming to us and saying our major issue is job security, and we understand something. We understand that we'll never really have job security unless we have a strong trade union movement. And for the first time, I really believe that we have an administration that understands that same thing as well.
But while showing faith in President Clinton on the issue of trade unions, Trumka didn't have anything good to say about the administration's proposed free trade agreement between the U.S., Canada, and Mexico.
Our belief is, and the analysis that we've gone through on NAFTA, and the analysis that some of the government agencies have gone through on NAFTA, demonstrates beyond any shadow of a doubt that NAFTA is going to cost Americans jobs.
Trumka said today that negotiations between the union and the nation's largest coal operators aren't going well. Meanwhile, this is the scene in Illinois, miners burning invitations from Peabody to come back to work under the 1988 contract. Just one more show of solidarity as a Labor Day weekend of rallies begins. Trumka is holding a rally in Oakwood, Virginia tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock and in Danville at 4 p.m. Barrett Van, News Center 6.
An anti-abortion group won its suit against state-funded abortion in West Virginia, but it's appealing the ruling. West Virginians for Life wants the state Supreme Court to order that it gets reimbursed for attorney's fees. The group also wants the state to be reimbursed for Medicaid-funded abortions while the lawsuit was pending. A provision of the new Medicaid funding law forbids the state to pay for most abortions for women on welfare. Kanawha County Judge John Hay made the final ruling on the case, but he did not award legal fees or reimbursement.
And a Beckley man accused of beating his 4-month-old son to death will have to wait until next year to stand trial. A hearing was held today for 20-year-old Vincent Wolf. His attorney told the court Wolf hasn't had sufficient psychiatric evaluation. Wolf was arrested back in February after police said he beat his son to try and get him to stop crying. The child, Devin, died of internal injuries including a bruised heart, a torn liver, and a torn stomach lining. Authorities say after the beating, Wolf waited at least 1 hour before he called an ambulance. During that time, he told police he watched television and did homework. The mother of a Wyoming County boy who suffered a severe reaction to a DPT vaccine says families should be aware of a federal fund to care for their children. 4-year-old Justin Church was recently awarded a $3 million settlement, which will care for him for the rest of his life. As Teresa Hamilton reports, Justin's mother hopes by coming forward, she can help families like hers.
4-year-old Justin Church of Wyoming County is like most children his age. Action figures are his favorite toys, McDonald's his favorite restaurant. But Justin isn't as carefree as most kids. He suffers from brain damage and a seizure disorder. Ironically, the symptoms stem from a vaccine that almost all children get. Lisa Church says her son became sick after he was given a DPT shot when he was 6 months old.
They released him from the hospital 8 days later and put him on some medication for seizures, and we had to go back periodically for EEGs and exams, and he's been on medicine and going to doctors ever since.
Church believes the pertussis component in the diphtheria, whooping cough, and tetanus shot is what her son reacted to. The DPT shot is required for all kids to enter the public school system. Unfortunately, Church says the vaccine attacked her son's nervous system. Today, Justin suffers from as many as 15 seizures a day and has difficulty speaking and walking.
He can't play Nintendo. Yeah, that's something I think all kids should be allowed to do, but he can't. We have a lot of trouble because my older son has one and he wants to play Bros Nintendo, but he can't.
Justin was awarded $2.9 million from a federal trust fund set up at the request of drug companies and other families. Lisa Church learned of the fund after watching a news story 2 years ago. Attorney James Garrell says the Churches are one of the lucky ones.
If your child has a seizure, for example, within 3 days after the vaccination and then later develops a seizure disorder, that child will be entitled to compensation for its whole life.
In Lewisburg, Teresa Hamilton, News Center 6.
Cemeteries are the final resting places for family members and loved ones. But someone or some group of people didn't let headstones rest in peace at Woodlawn Cemetery in Bluewell. More than 24 tombstones were toppled, some were broken, and groundkeepers were left to pick up the pieces. Picking up after someone else takes on a whole new meaning when the things to be picked up weigh hundreds and sometimes thousands of pounds. This is what the grounds crew at Woodlawn Cemetery found when they came into work yesterday. Headstone after headstone pushed off their pedestals. What was your reaction when you first got here and saw what happened?
Boiling over mad, sick. Too much work to be done to put it back up.
But put it back up is exactly what Ron Culbertson and his crew had to do, one stone at a time. A total of 28 stones were toppled. Several of them, including this one, were either broken or cracked. To replace it would cost thousands. But the damage wasn't limited to grave markers. The vandals also broke a glass door and damaged other windows at the mausoleum. Do you think that they show a lack of respect for the dead?
The dead and the living. This is a cemetery to grieve your loved ones. And do things like this, they don't have no respect for the dead or the living.
The Mercer County Sheriff's Department has several suspects, and they say their suspects are young teenagers who live in the area. Investigators also say the vandalism may have been in retaliation for the seizure by police of an all-terrain vehicle belonging to one of the teenage suspects.
Distressing story. Well, After Hours is next. We'll find out what's happening this Labor Day weekend.
Including one event we're very involved in. Jalita?
The MDA Telethon is this weekend, and it'll mean hours and hours of activity, so stay tuned. After Hours is after this.
Today's financial summary is brought to you by Investment Planning Consultants Incorporated and Robert Thomas Securities.
Orange, you looking bright and sunny and cheerful today.
Orange, you looking good.
Right. Did you get it?
Yes,
Actually,
I got
that's
that.
about the color of those orange push-ups. Remember those little ice cream treats?
Yes, well, that's right. Well, I'm an ice cream treat. See, I'm a nice cream treat.
And we're in for some treats in the weather, too.
That's right. Oh,
Trick or treat looking like this. Halloween.
That's right. You wore it a couple months early, but
Yes, that's all right. I'll wear it once a month in the summertime because it's a nice jacket. I like it.
It is.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
nice.
All right, folks, let's brighten up the weather for you folks, too, and take a look and see what happened already at the Mercer County Airport. It went up to 83 degrees, clouds or no clouds. We still got some 80s out of it. In some places, went on up around the 90-degree mark today. The low this morning was 68 degrees, 96 and 38. The records over on the right for September the 2nd. Sunrise tomorrow at 6:57 in the morning, sunset at 7:51 p.m. Oh, yes, and it's time for the kids to play. Where are they? I don't see any kids out here. But anyhow, it's a nice little scene outdoors today. It was pretty nice. All right, let's see what's going on. 76 degrees at the Mercer County Airport. The humidity, 60%. That's where it starts getting a little on the muggy side there if it's not very warm. Okay, pressure, 30.16 inches of mercury falling. Southwest winds, 9 miles an hour. Nothing in the rain department, even though we've got it all over. You wait till you see a radar in a few moments. 79 in Charleston. 74 is the coolest. That's in Oak Hill and on Droop Mountain. And it's 76 in Beckley and Bluefield, 82 in Princeton, and in the Welch and Pineville area, 79 in Tazewell, 84 in Grundy. We have It's 90. I accuse them of having their thermometer out in the sunshine there, but that's in Hinton. It's hard to believe. Come on now. All right, they looked at it with a Zippo lighter. Oh, look at the temperature. All right, 75 degrees. That's south of Lewisburg and Fairleigh there. 77 in Roanoke. Let's go to the this is the picture I showed you yesterday that we were going to have in the way of a warm front north of us. They're just cutting across the lower Great Lakes, up across Pennsylvania. Now warm air is being pumped up by a high pressure system sitting out here in the east of the Carolinas, and a low pressure storm system sitting down here in the Gulf that's pulling a lot of moisture, and a lot of it's coming up here from Mexico and on up this way. It's warm, moist, unstable air. So it runs into some cooler air and it just explodes. It just does all things by itself. It doesn't even need that. Cold front cutting across to the west of us, another little Mickey Mouse with them in behind that. And look what they're doing. The whole eastern part of the United States is full of rain. It's spotty rain. Look, even around us in the last couple of hours, we've had a little spotty stuff here and there, and just a little tiny bit south of us, a little cell popping up. But the big stuff is west of us there and east of us, and it kind of divides or something when it gets across our area there. We only get little pop-up showers. But there it is. It's a whole mass. It's coming our way, and I don't know how we can get out of getting some rain. It's all over the place. Okay, tomorrow, cold front will be a little closer, cutting across the western edge of West Virginia, and it'll be moving our way close enough where during the daytime, while we'll have some showers, pop-up showers, and we'll have some regular thunder boomers and that sort of thing. Low pressure system won't be too far away from the cold front, cutting all the way down from the New England states all the way down southwest on down into southern Texas. And then Saturday, a cold front during the day has to come through, so there'll be a little chance of some rain early, and then it'll slide on through and some cooler air come in the back of it. And I don't think there's going to be any weather there. Another little shower, a cold front coming in behind that, that's not going to do anything at all, I don't think. All right, let's see what's going to happen for the rest of tonight. Mostly cloudy, a 40% chance, which is a fair chance with all that rain hanging around, yes. 40% chance of some showers and thunderstorms, low 65 to 70, south winds. And then tomorrow, showers and thunderstorms likely with a high up near 80 degrees in spite of the cooler air, southwest winds. And tomorrow night, oh yes, it's shaking everything, more showers and thunderstorms likely with a low 60 to 65 degrees. It's time now for us to look at our extended outlook. Let's move over to Saturday there. Partly cloudy with a 40% chance of showers early, and then 75 for the high. Then Sunday and Monday, that's then Sunday and Labor Day, mostly sunny with highs 75 to 82 or so, or even up into the mid-80s in some places. That's about the size of it. It looks like at least Labor Day is going to look pretty good, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's good for us. I mean, we've got a lot going on that day. And
Be working.
That's right.
And,
you won't see the sun.
No, it's true. You'll be in the studio for 24 hours or more straight. But in Oak Hill, they're having a big Labor Day parade Saturday. So I know they're hoping for clear weather.
Oh,
so
good.
Let's see what we can do.
All right.
We'll practice up between now and then. Thanks,
It'll
Dan.
be there.
Just ahead in sports, the girls' basketball season is set to tip off tonight for Bluefield and Beckley.
And Ernie Irvin appears to have himself a brand new ride. Woody?
It is a brand new ride. In fact, he'll be moving his entire operation to Charlotte to join the Robert Yates racing team. We'll have details when we come back right after this timeout.
So he wrecked a couple of cars. What's the big deal?
Big deal is they probably cost $100,000 a piece.
That could be a bit
And
of a
the other
problem.
drivers really grow to hate you very
Oh,
quickly.
they do. I am surprised Swerve and Irvin has any friends on the circuit at all for Dale Earnhardt, but at the same time, he's got a new ride. Maybe his driving fortunes will change. At least he hopes so. Yes, folks, Ernie Irvin says all he was waiting for was the written release from the Morgan McClure racing team of Abingdon. Then Swerve and Irvin would be able to accept the offer to drive for the Robert Yates racing team. And today, that is just what happened. Irvin had a year remaining on the contract with Morgan McClure Racing, but said today he has signed with Robert Yates Racing and will take over the car last driven by the late Davey Allison. Irvin says he will be behind the wheel beginning with tomorrow's qualifying for Sunday's Southern 500. When the West Virginia Mountaineers open the season Saturday afternoon against Eastern Michigan, the Ears will battle a team with one of only 3 Afro-American head coaches. But that doesn't mean much to Don Nealon, the Eagles' Ron Cooper, or to Temple's new head coach, Ron Dickerson. It's the media, he says, that focuses on the ethnicity of the coaches.
As they do Jim Caldwell, Ron Cooper, and that's all we ask for. Okay, and some of them say, hey, they're realistic, and they say they can get it done. You got to be careful,
So the Ears must be careful. Now Temple opens the season next Thursday against Eastern Michigan. Pittsburgh kicks off the Big East scheduled tonight against Southern Mississippi. It will mark the second coming of Johnny Majors for the Panthers. He coached Pittsburgh from 73 to 77 and won the 1976 National Championship before moving on to Tennessee. Dyslexia is reigning supreme today. The Woodrow Wilson Flying Eagles are used to being #1 in basketball, and now here in 1993, the football team is sitting on top of the heap. But as Mark Brown reports, for the second straight week, Woodrow Wilson is playing an out-of-state opponent.
With 8 juniors in his starting lineup, Beckley coach Pete Colacerto got exactly what he needed last Friday, an opening night win.
We wouldn't have had the attitude and the confidence, this week that we would have had we lost. And if we can win, be fortunate enough to win this game, it'll give us more confidence. And each game just sort of builds and makes you a little bit better. And
the Flying Eagles went into last week's game against Dunbar High School with a limited scouting report. Game 2 against Eastern High School tomorrow night is about the same.
I know they're from Washington, D.C.
Well, that's certainly a start, and indeed the Flying Eagles may only know what they're facing when it's game time.
We had one film, and it was sort of like one of those home movies, and you didn't get a whole lot out of it, but, we did pick up bits and pieces, so we hope that we're ready.
The Eagles are home for the first 5 games of the season, a situation Colacerto says can only help his young team.
If we don't have momentum when we hit the road, then we're going to run into a roadblock because we play Bluefield our first away game, and then we play Capital our second game, and those are 2 of the finer football teams in the state, so we better be ready.
Kickoff at Flying Eagle Stadium is 7:30 Friday night. In Beckley, Mark Brown, News Center 6 Sports.
The 1993 West Virginia girls high school basketball season opens tonight for the Lady Flying Eagles of Woodrow Wilson and the Lady Beavers of Bluefield. The Lady Flying Eagles are coming off a state tournament appearance last season under head coach Ron Kidd, and the former Bluefield State star wants a return trip to Charleston. The first task, of course, will be to beat the Lady Beavers tonight in Bluefield, and Bluefield's youth will have to prevail. Head coach Ronnie Ball has just 1 senior on this year's squad, and he has 11 sophomores. Tip-off is set for 7 o'clock tonight, and we'll have highlights for you tonight at 11.
Got all this stuff going on, girls basketball, boys football.
I just can't get used to girls playing basketball in the fall. I never will, I don't think.
Anybody does. As we said, it's a controversial issue last addressed by the state legislature, and they dropped it.
They dropped the ball on that.
Basically, that's what they
a lot of people felt.
They put it back into the hands of the Secondary Schools Activities Commission, and of course, the all-powerful commission has said no to girls basketball in boys' season, citing the lack of gym space.
Do I detect a bit of sarcasm with the all-power?
No, I'm telling you, son.
They are
all powerful.
Thanks, Woody.
For sure.
Time to check out how that late news is shaping up.
Barrett's standing by in the newsroom. Barrett?
CMP Telephone will soon have a new name. We'll tell you why. Also, Virginia Governor Doug Wilder says he's not concerned about a new poll that puts him in last place if he were in a 3-way race for the U.S. Senate. Loretta, Kevin?
Thanks, Barrett. And coming up, a big bash in Tazewell County today.
It's the silver anniversary of Southwest Virginia Community College.
If you thought you saw paratroopers falling out of the sky this afternoon over Tazewell County, don't worry, you weren't seeing things. They were red. Now, if you saw purple paratroopers, you may be in trouble.
That's right. The U.S. Army's Golden Knight parachuters made the appearance as part of a ceremony for Southwest Virginia Community College. SVCC invited numerous county and state officials, including Governor Doug Wilder, members of the Virginia National Guard, and many others, all to dedicate its newest facility, a $1 million recreational complex.
We have a great recreational complex, 5 picnic pavilions here, a tremendous baseball, softball field with a track and football field, and these facilities will enable us to really be more serving to our community in ways that we haven't even dreamed yet.
The complex was funded by the school and numerous private and company donors. It will be open to the public for use. A little bit of trivia here. Dr. King, who we just heard from, has been there since the school's inception, 25 years.
That's a long time.
Yeah. I'm a SVCC alumnus.
Are you?
Well, 1 quarter. I had to pick up my grades after sophomore year.
1 quarter, yeah. Makes you an alumnus, all right. Well, Sherry, I want to explain. Sherry's been off for the past couple days, and she's going to be off, I think, through maybe middle of next week. She is currently helping launch the new morning show. They're kind of implementing it right now, and she's been getting up at 3 o'clock every morning. So anyway, that's where she is. She's kind of hopefully getting some rest right around now.
She will be coming back, eventually?
Maybe Wednesday, we're hoping. And then, of course, the telethon, she'll be working for the telethon this weekend. So, and Kevin, so be sure and tune in and
Hope
stand.
you'll join us.
That's right. That's the news. Good night.
Good night.